Jangan lupa menjaga kesehatan Anda dengan tetap mengkonsumsi obat yang sudah terdaftar BPOM dan Halal MUI agar Anda dapat merasakan khasiatnya yang aman dan tidak menimbulkan efek samping apapun yang dapat memperburuk kondisi Anda. Sayangi diri Anda dan keluarga Anda dengan memeriksakan keluhan yang Anda rasakan saat ini, atau Anda dapat berkonsultasi dengan praktisi profesional dari kami yang terpercaya dengan menghubungi kontak di bawah ini.
Indonesia, tanah airku, tanah tumpah darahku. Di sanalah aku berdiri, jadi pandu ibuku. Indonesia, kebangsaanku, bangsa dan tanah airku. Marilah kita bersatu, Indonesia bersatu. Hiduplah tanahku, hiduplah negeriku, bangsaku, rakyatku semuanya. Bangunlah jiwanya, bangunlah badannya untuk Indonesia Raya. Merdeka, merdeka, tanahku, negeriku yang ku cinta. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka, hiduplah Indonesia Raya. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka, tanahku, negeriku yang ku cinta. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka, hiduplah Indonesia
JTP 100% Gone Wong Jawa Timur 100% menghibur rakyat makmur. JTP 100% KW Wong Jawa Timur. JTP 100% Jawa Timur.
Rise and shine, everyone. Welcome to See Today's Network. This is the See Morning Show. For the next 3 hours, we'll give you the latest development, what is happening around the world. We are still focusing on ourselves in South Korea, as you know, 2 days ago, actually, where President Yoon had put on a martial law, and then, of course, it had been evoked within a couple of hours. Now, that made a public cry in the people or in the citizens of South Korea, hence impeachment. It seems it's very imminent for President Yoon. We'll give you the latest development in regards to that. We have a weather anomaly across Southeast Asia region. I'll give you some news and updates right here from Indonesia, of course, including along with sports update, business, and entertainment. And as always, it is very pivotal right here on the C Morning here to have discussions in the AM. And that's why my colleagues will elaborate just a little bit after this. But please let me introduce myself. My name is Caroline Sarahman. I'm along with my host today. We have Jasmine and also Archie right here on the deck. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. How are we doing this morning?
Excuse the raspy voice.
Oh,
Makes
you've
it
been
even better.
on your
Yeah.
5-day marathon, really. Here.
I had been here, but it's always good to be here in the studio, right?
Amazing. Well,
Yes.
good morning, everybody. My name is Jasmine Harawan. Now, in addition to what Carol just said, we will have a couple of talk shows. Now, today marks a very special day because it's International Volunteer Day, as well as we're going to talk about Indonesia's waste management and the role that women have on them. So be sure to keep with all of that later on in our show, and make sure you can always follow us and connect with us on social media at CJ News on Instagram, X, as well as YouTube.
Yes, and I'm your host, Archie Pramazwara. As always, I'd like to greet our viewers that are now able to tune in from Foxtel's Flash Australia, Macau Cable TV Channel 84, Vision Philippines Channel 58, Air Cable Philippines, and also at Singtel Singapore Channel 15 and StarHub Channel 720. So, all right, folks, we'll start the show with our headlines. Let's take it away, Carol.
Thank you very much, Archie. Yes, as we mentioned previously, the South Korean parliament received a motion of impeachment against President Yoon Suk-yeol on Thursday.
On to a different story. 2 have been declared missing following a flash flood which affected at least 20 districts as well as 27 villages in Sukabumi, West Java.
State-owned Enterprises Minister Erick Thohir recently announced that PT Garuda Indonesia, Citylink Indonesia, and Pelita Air have reduced ticket prices for domestic flights by 10%.
We're ready for the holidays. And Telkomsel had announced massive operational improvements following the integration of hyper AI technology into their business. And right, folks, we've been following the developments that is happening in South Korea right now, including today where the South Korean parliament received a motion of impeachment against President Yoon Suk-yeol on Thursday.
South Korean law dictates that the motion must be voted on within 24 to 72 hours after it was introduced in a plenary session. Therefore, a possible vote might come in as early as Friday.
The motion was spearheaded by the main liberal opposition Democratic Party and 5 smaller opposition parties following widespread backlash against the president's martial law declaration, which saw heavily armed troops surrounding the parliamentary building. This prompted lawmakers to scale walls to re-enter the structure and unanimously nullify the order.
The motion needs to receive the support of 2/3 of the National Assembly to take effect. Furthermore, at least 6 of the 9 Constitutional Court justices need to approve the decision to formally remove the president from office.
찬대, 조국, 천하람, 윤종호, 용해인, 한창민 의원 등 191인으로부터 대통령 윤석열 탄핵 소추안, 박성준 의원 등 170인으로부터 국방부 장관 김용현 탄핵 소추안이 12월 4일에 각각 발의되었습니다.
Thousands of protesters gathered near the National Assembly on Tuesday night and called for the rejection of Yoon's controversial orders. They later called for his arrest and resignation.
In addition, the Korean Confederation of Trade Unions, or KCTU, which is the nation's largest labor union coalition, has declared an indefinite general strike, demanding President Yoon's resignation. Thousands of union members have pledged to participate in the strike and hold demonstrations in Seoul until their demands are met.
These reflect mounting political and social pressure on President Yoon amid growing calls for accountability and a change in leadership.
Now, South Korea's main opposition party, which is the Democratic Party, has also announced plans to initiate impeachment proceedings if President Yoon Suk-yeol does not step down. If we just can give a little bit of the history, what happened yesterday, you know, it was early in the day where the President Yoon had made that declaration of the martial law.
10:27 p.m. actually.
That's right.
Very
And
late.
for some people that might not understand that the martial law is imminent in South Korea, actually there is 2 martial law that can be imposed in the state, and that is an emergency martial law and security martial law. And the president has the authority to declare these. Now, the martial law that was invoked by President Yoon was the emergency law, which grants the government sweeping powers to restrict press freedom, limit assembly, and also override civil courts. In regards to this, the president must notify the National Assembly after declaring the martial law. Hence, that's why President Yoon was actually waiting for the assemblies to come to the parliament, and even when some parliaments, when some of the people were jumping up the fence so they can enter the building. Now, if the assembly demands its termination by majority vote, as it did in the most recent case, the president must comply. So what was the decree that was imposed by President Yoon? Well, first, all political activities were prohibited. All media and publication was subject to martial law command strikes. Work stoppages and rallies that incite social chaos were prohibited. And all medical personnel had to return to their jobs within 48 hours. So, it is what we're seeing right now, the public outcry. They want the impeachment for President Yoon, but it's going to take much time now, for this impeachment to be implemented. So we will, further, and we'll have also, Archie, our further update in regards to this, still in that matter.
Yes, that's right. And on our next update, still from South Korea, as the major opposition party leader, Lee Jae-myung, condemned South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol for declaring martial law and told his supporters that Yoon was ready to sacrifice lives and rights for his benefits.
Hundreds of Lee's supporters and opposition party lawmakers gathered in front of the South Korean parliament on Wednesday, hours after Yoon lifted an emergency martial law.
Now, Lee has demanded Yoon's resignation and warned his supporters that Yoon can potentially provoke North Korea to start a clash and sacrifice lives to maintain his power.
자신의 작은 손톱만한 이익을 위해서 거대한 파괴를 마다하지 않는 자들입니다. 그래서 북한을 자극하고 교전선을 교란시키고 결국에 무력 충돌로 이끌어갈 위험이 상당히 높습니다. 국민 여러분, 여러분께서 함께 지켜주셔야 합니다. 국민 여러분, 그리고 이 자리에 권력 유지를 위해서 수없이 많은 사람들의 인권을 유린하는 비상계엄이 부족하다면 그들은 우리 국민들의 생명을 갖다 바칠 것이 분명합니다. 경각심을 가지고 함께 싸웁시다.
So yes, folks, we'll definitely give you more updates in regards to that. And our next update comes from Lebanon, as tens of thousands of Lebanese who fled Israeli bombardments in the past months quickly returned to parts of southern Lebanon after the Israel-Hezbollah ceasefire came into effect. A South Lebanon resident set up a tent on the rubble of what used to be his house just a week after the tenuous ceasefire between Hezbollah and Israel began. Furthermore, bulldozers cleared rubble from the streets of Nabateh while electricians working on fixing power cables in an effort to restore power.
According to municipal officials, around 40% of buildings across the city have been destroyed. Now, additionally, the Lebanese Health Ministry said on Wednesday that Israeli attacks since October 2023 have killed at least 4,470 and injured 60,638 across the country.
تتضايق العائلة انه بات ذكريات ربيوا فيها قعدوا مثل ما بيقولوا هنا سكنوا هنا ركضوا هنا مش عارف شو هنا درسوا فلذلك انه هيدي تاثروا كثير العائله فيها الشغله هيدي وهلا مش حالة اقلهم بالجو بس اجوا شافوا طبعا هلا عن بعد بالخبر غير بيكون هلا لما اجوا شافوا الواقع وكذا هلا تقريبا مرتاحوا لما عرفوا انه بدنا نرجع نعمل.
Now, we must say that it's great to see that the Lebanese are rebuilding and reconstructing also and make shifts to have for those displaced people some a place at least to call a home. But we know that the ceasefire deal that was broken by U.S. and France that was supposed to be extended for 60 days for the ceasefire deal. Yet there's still a violation occurs between both sides, and that is Israel and also Hezbollah. Israel has carried out more than 24 attacks on Lebanese territory, which have killed and also wounded people. But in response to that, Israel says they are in response to violation of the ceasefire and to people moving near its self-imposed no-go zones. So they were saying, well, you're too close to this kind of, on the war zones. So that's why you're being attacked. However, this marks the first time that Hezbollah has fired back, calling into the questions whether the Tunis ceasefire can hold. Hezbollah has stated that the continued violation of Lebanese airspace by hostile Israeli aircraft all the way to the capital Beirut, and it's just a justification for these warning shots and blame concerned authorities for failing to stop Israel attacks on Lebanese soil despite the ceasefire. In response to this, Defense Minister Israel Katz says Israel will have a harsh response to Hezbollah fire after the Lebanese group said it fired a warning defensive response into an Israeli military site. Even to the far-right finance minister, Bezalel Smotrich made a similar remark, saying Israel must respond with a powerful blow. In regards to this, of course, we also had received some responses from Pentagon and also from Washington. And Washington and France, they are the broker. They're playing the referee right now. They're seeing there are some allegations on